We're back. Let's continue. Alright, let's first check the board. Do we have notables now? We still have Carl's picture we haven't found yet. Oh no. Alright, let's start with see if we can find Carl's picture. This is an oversight. This photo has a note attached from your employer. Every 20 years or so, the Roottrees would hold a big reunion and recreate an old family photo. This is the one from the 70s, and Carl's the teenager in the middle. Sorry about the water damage. A pipe burst in Carl's office. On the back of the photo, in childish printing, it says November. There are also a large number of cursive signatures. They include Bonnie, next president, Guy Hudson, Ernie Jr., Caroline, Gwyneth M., Gwendolyn, Miracle Jr., Jim Rootree, it's Miracle Jr., Carl, Clark Carl, and Eli M. So let's see. That's Carl. We have another Eli Jr. This one, right? Miracle Jr., I think. That should be fine. Okay, so now the notables are done. So we just have to find information. Update: after some time, they returned with new resources, a photo of Carl's generation taken in the mid to late 1970s, as well as some papers and mail from his office. They said they had a bit more to share after 9 more blood relatives. All right. They have this picture with a bunch of photos in it. I suppose I can just click all the photos. She looks pregnant. Something to note. This photo was tucked inside an envelope with a letter beneath a candle in the corner of his office. The letter says, "To Carl and Brenda, I'm sorry that you were unable to attend the funeral. It's traditional to have it as soon as possible, and Ernie, more than anyone else on earth, knew how busy your job can be. I've enclosed a Shiva candle identical to ours if you'd like to pay your respects, though it's not expected for those outside of the faith to do so." Ernie was a man full of love, not only for his family, but for his family's legacy. He had an immense amount of pride for the work you three did together, as well as how Carl has carried on for him after taking over. As for myself, it is impossible to express my gratitude enough for rescuing us from the panic and burden of endless bills. Though we caught it too late for him to get on the donor list, the company took care of us beyond our wildest expectations. It was unsaid at the time, but Ernie and I knew it had to have been Carl that convinced the trust, and that it was no coincidence that it happened shortly after your visit, Brenda. Up until the end, Ernie and I had to stay strong, especially for Nicole's sake. We could never have done that without the two of you fighting for us. Much love, Debbie. All right. Let's write a note. Ernie died from some organ failure. Debbie was his wife, and Nicole his daughter. Can't spell daughter. Enter. Let's look at the board to see if we have anybody. It's implied that Ernie was the next president. I had a Nicole somewhere. No children. I think the next president was over here. I think president second. It skipped this generation. Don't know if his last name is Morden though. Who has one child? We have two candidates here. Oh, don't forget. Family trees use surnames from birth, even if the person changed their last name after marriage. Always use the person's most recent occupation. Oh, okay. Why is this here? Alright, let's go back to the information. This is Debbie. This is Nicole. This photo has a note attached from your employer. Here's a bonus. When I pulled the water damage picture of the Free Spirits out of the frame, this fell out too. Written on the back of this photo. Couldn't make the reunion. Wishing you well from Paris. Gwyn and the boys. Alright, so she's not in the photo. Two kids. The boys. Alright, let's look at the picture again. So we got blonde Chalamet and Brad Pitt. Let's put them in. Gwyn's children. With Wild Bill, which I still don't know whose name. There's no Williams here, right? He does look older, but I don't know yet. Oh, it's another picture of Gwyn. Okay. What else is new? I'm still reading the book from Lauren. Let's look at this first. Vote for Stephanie Jones for City Council. Campaign mailer. Alright, there was a black kid in the photo, yes? Yes, yes, yes. Are they standing just by herself? No parents extant. Alright, so who are these? Looks pretty young. Could be anybody. This was buried under a ton of other mail that Carl left in his inbox. It had a handwritten note attached that seemed personal. It is a flyer about a candidate for local office, Stephanie Jones. On the back is an excerpt from a newspaper article from the Butler County Times about her campaign. Stephanie may have grown up in an unconventional family, to say the least, but in her words, it was still full of love. And now, 22 years later, with a baby of her own due around Christmas, her message for voters is simply, love is our future. The handwritten note says, Carl, I know we don't see eye to eye when it comes to the candy company, but if you could talk to your girls about putting out a statement supporting Stephanie, she could use the publicity your daughters bring. Don't let our conflicts spread to the next generation. CM. Alright, so the mother is CM. At the same level as Carl. So it could be anywhere here. Somebody with children. No, no. here? Well, Morden is their name. Here with children. This is a good candidate. There's no marker. I wish I could write on the board. Let's write a note. Same generation as Carl. See Morden. Question mark. There's two Zacharias, are there? Wilson. I think this might be right. But we don't have evidence yet. Okay, let's continue with the journal entries. We read this, we read this. We didn't read this. An entry entitled Sam from Lauren Roottrees' diary, written in 1963 from a previous entry. You learn that Elias Roottree had given in to his wife and announced that Sam, an obscure relative, was to be included in family gatherings. Gwyneth had been pushing to include Sam for quite some time. Lauren writes, Why Sam? I have many distant relatives I've never met. After all, Granny had sisters and Granddad had a brother or two. But I was told, trim their branches from the family tree. So why is Sam special? Nothing adds up. And I'm not the only one to realize. Angie summoned all of the next gens to a secret meeting in Zach's office. Gwyn's in Paris, but the rest of us, including Miracle's boys, spent ages trying to unravel the mystery. None of us had even met Sam until Uncle Junior's wedding to Patsy last year. Uncle Junior to Patsy. At the reception, when I asked who Sam was, Pop shushed me and it said it was complicated. Clancy swore he saw Sam working alongside the farmhands, E.C. and John, when he used to drive past the old Anderson farm on his way to work. Clancy. Upon hearing that, Zach checked the records and managed to confirm all three are on the books. Eli, Miracle's youngest, not my brother. Even chimed in. Apparently, when he was riding his mini bike alongside the farm a few weeks ago, Sam gave him some old tools and taught him how to make the bike's engine faster. None of us think that proper for a multitude of reasons, but Eli certainly seems thrilled. Alright. At the end of the day, nothing explains why an outsider has cozied into family affairs, especially one who works on the farm of all places. Whatever happened to blood is thicker than syrup? Why is Granddad making an exception now? Huh. Sam is special. Oh, I suspect this might be the scandal Sam. So, she has a brother named Eli. Miracle's youngest was also named Eli. They have three Eliases. Elias Jr. is not Elias Jr. So it's Elias C or Elias M. We don't know enough. We have an Elias here too. Maybe he's Elias. And that would be Elias Jr. Alright, I'm making a guess. I wish I could mark that this is an interim guess. This is Elias Jr. This might be Elias. One of these is named Clancy, who's an architect, I think. Eli Jr. designed. Oh, wait a minute, 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 wait a minute. He's Elias. Alright, alright. I'm totally off my depth here. Unknown name. One of these guys is Elias. And he's an architect, so it's not him. Did I put this in? Oh, Marguerite's her mother. So this means this is Elias Jr. He doesn't have to be Junior, but I'm guessing that he's the architect. Now we have two Eliases. The grandfather's name. One of these guys is an Elias, and he's Elias, but we don't know which one. Is it with an M? It is, I'm gonna guess it's Miracle, but that could change. We're not set on that. Sam a special. Clark. Does the number change? Like, how does it get updated? One of the final entries called Clark from Lauren Roottrees' diary, written in 1964. Clark's getting married, and in my opinion, far too young. He's barely 18 for crowd's sake. And Danielle isn't much older. But openly confronting them would make me a hypocrite. After all, Jacob and I got married at 16. Clark, like the rest of his generation, is a free spirit. What else do you call a group of kids growing up with more money than any one person can spend? They all aspire to be musicians and artists and dancers and all sorts of nonsense. The only one who has any discipline is Carl, but that's because Pop forced Clancy to send him to the academy. Alright, let's do this now. This could be a Clancy. Got too many Clancys to know. We have too many Clancys to know. Maybe I'm just getting old, but our generation was never so bad. My brothers all seemed to pursue passive knowledge, and the most rebellious thing any of us ever did was bring home someone who would be illegal to marry if he lived anywhere south of Pennsylvania. Pop seems to have gotten over it because Edward is set to take over his department once he retires. And as for me, my first published book, Swashbuckled My Heart. More books. Is based on the pirate stories I used to invent with Jacob when we were walking along in the woods after school. I think he'd be proud that Clark and I are carrying on his name. Even my cousins are doing well. Zach's not a bad president after all, and his sister seems to be doing a good job raising her twins. Gwyn is Gwyn. Alright, hold on. Alright, these are twins. Okay. What was I reading? No! There we go. She even told us she might come home next year so we can meet her kids. But the free spirits, in any other family, they'd all end up on the streets. Even Clark. Clark is her son. We have no Williams. If we find out their names, we have to find out the father's real name. It's not LaRue, is it? There's too many LaRues. Let's look at the names. I don't see anything. Wilson, maybe? Okay, let's go back to the board. So we read her books, but I got a bunch of her books still on the computer. Romance to Court Jester. Roottrees. What was the book I just saw? Swashbuckle My Heart. Typing wrong. Published 1963, out of print. No copies available. Re-released as X marks the spot. Come on, man. Alright, let's try. Romance in the Court. Out of print, re-released as Romance in Court. By Lauren Roottrees. Published 1968, softcover fiction romance. A romance novel by Lauren Roottrees. The About the Author blurb mentions she had inspiration from one of her brother Clancy's lectures on the Middle Ages. Okay, this implies that Clancy is a professor. Okay. It's the other book, Court Jester. Alright, maybe she was Rafferty still. Nothing. Alright, Clance Trust. This is nothing. Alright, let's go to the search. Oh, there's magazines. Not yet. Not yet. For pictures, I can get magazines. Alright, okay, let's... I need to know the name of the magazine. Did I make any notes? Delete that now. Last name might be wrong. Oh, we're back to word searching. Let's look for Clance Trust. The Clancid Trust is a highly unusual corporate arrangement named after Clancy Edward Roottrees, C.E. Roottrees, who was Elias's son and the Roottrees Candy Company's head lawyer at the time. Due to its unique nature, it's often brought up in online discussions about financial matters and inheritance as an oddity. Alright, before I continue, This is Clancy Edward. And so this must be Clancy Jr. Because she's Pop. He's Pop. Okay. The company mandates that a fixed percentage of its profits are split every quarter amongst bank accounts representing each direct relative of Elias and Gwyneth. An account is created for each blood relative at birth and first accessible when they reach 18. The actual numbers have never fully been disclosed to the public, but due to the ever-increasing success of the company, it is a significant amount of money. The Clansett Trust is known for being essentially impossible to get around due to many checks and balances written into it. Still, there have been a few situations in which family members have tried to forcibly remove another member from the trust. Most details online are pretty vague since the matters are handled internally. The only information you discover is from a university law school, which apparently had a guest lecturer talk about the Roottrees versus RR in 1994. While looking into the Clansett Trust, you often find mentions to the 5-piece guarantee, which went into effect at the same time. Alright, I guess it's the next search. You gonna make me type this? The 5-piece guarantee in combination with the Clansett Trust was Elias Roottrees' attempt to ensure that the Roottree Candy Company would remain a family business for eternity. In isolation, it is somewhat baffling. The yearly salary of Roottree's president is always locked to the price of a single pack of 5 pieces. When the 5-piece guarantee went into effect, this was 25 cents a year. It's now closer to $4. Combined with the Clansett Trust, however, it makes a bit more sense. Elias wanted to ensure that only his direct relatives could afford to be president, and he knew that because their passive income was tied to the profits of the company, they would have a vested interest in keeping the company as profitable and successful as possible. Whether or not this was a smart or successful decision is widely debated both online and in person by economic enthusiasts of all levels of expertise. Okay. Tax implications too, I'm sure. What's my notebook got to look for now? What about spider search? Swashbuckle my heart. No. Okay, let's go back to the Roottrees sisters to find out some of these magazine names. No. Where was it? Brenda White? Brenda White original, the auction disguised a vintage dress. Alright. Nothing. I forget where I... Maybe it was Riley Roottree? No. Raina Roottree? Oh no, oh no, I forget. I talked about the magazines. We read this. Blah 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 blah. Catalogs. Oh no, I've already forgotten. I looked for something. Oh, maybe it was Gwyn. Alright, I've lost the name of the magazine. Find some information on our website. Guys Like Us is 1953 film with two secretaries cut their hair short and pose as businessmen to get ahead in life until one of them falls in love with their client and hilarity ensues. Starring Gwyn Roottrees, Leslie Florence, and Harrison Lane. Let's remember some names. Did you know trivia? The title is a play on words, as it can be read as that the two women are men similar to other men, or that the men are fond of them. Leslie Florence. Leslie Florence was Gwyn Roottrees' co-star in Guys Like Us. Not much relevant information as she does not have any additional credits on the site. There isn't even a Did You Know trivia section for her. Alright. Harrison Lane. Harrison Lane was a television actor with a major role in Guys Like Us and some other films. His largest role before Guys Like Us was as the villain in the first season of Western Frontiers. Due to the popularity of Guys Like Us, the studio brought Lane back to play the villain's twin brother, this time as a hero joining the protagonist. Western Frontiers has no connection to the Roottrees. Harrison Lane seems to be a dead end. Harrison Lane married his high school sweetheart and they reunited at a movie premiere. After they reunited. Alright. Let's just look at Western Frontiers. Harrison Lane was blah blah, same. Okay, dead end. Oh, I wish I remember where I found this. Maybe it was Miracle Jr.? I can look for Clergy Watch. Didn't find it. Red Roottrees. Aloysius Herring Roottrees, aka Red, was an appointed judge and politician who earned his nickname ironically because he was the ambassador to Ireland for about 6 days. Did I put him on? Oh, wait a minute. He was the red herring. Oh, okay. I remember now. Red herring. It's clever. He was the dead end. Jim Roottrees. The singer. Maybe that's one. Oh my god, I thought they... Oh no, I've forgotten. There was a magazine. Lauren Roottrees. Oh. Alright, that's a dead end. Oh, I think I've lost the plot. Get all these pictures. Oh. I got a picture of Eli here. How convenient. This is Carl's generation. And Eli is older. So one of these guys is Eli. This is Lauren's level. This is the 5. Alright, it's getting confusing now. There's not enough Eli's. Let's go back to the computer. Type in a name. Oh, he's set, so his name is gone. So we have another Alliance Roottrees. So one of these is an alliance. We have too many. We have too many choices. So let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12. 13, 14, these were separate. It's 12. Some of these don't count. This tree. Yeah, maybe that's not Sam. Alright, we got some names here. Oh, Eli M. Okay, we're gonna start searching for these guys. I'm going to assume this is the Eli Elias M. I've already got him in somewhere. But it's not set. Okay, I'm not going to assume yet. I'm going to search. Yeah, I read this before. Watchman of the Year. Okay, what's Watchman of the Year? Let's find out. Oh, Business Watch. Is it? Ah, so it shows up. I guess I don't have to hunt for them. Business Watch magazine is a magazine focused on companies, CEOs, and the economy. They have been around for over 100 years in one form or another and will often write about major changes in management at famous companies. Every year they offer an award to a prominent businessman who has furthered the field. They call this the Watchman of the Year. You find through a few searches that 2 Roottrees have been featured as Watchman of the Year, Elias Roottrees and Carl Roottrees. Business Watch does not host any online archives on any site you can find via spider search, though you may be able to find individual articles and issues through your periodical search. Carl Roottrees, maybe I get a different picture of him. Carl Roottrees was voted Watchman of the Year in 1987 for his work with Root. The cover and a summary of the article has been added to your evidence. We got another picture of Carl. Carl Roottrees was voted Watchman of the Year in 1987, and a photo of him appears on the cover. According to the cover, Business Watch is the magazine for and about corporate leaders, and has ongoing coverage of who's who in the corporate world. Carl was chosen not for his work at Roottrees Candy, but rather the clothing company Root. Here's a brief history. Before they married, Carl's wife Brenda was a fashion consultant. When Raina was born, Brenda retired to become a stay-at-home mother. Looking for a creative outlet, she spent any free time she had at the sewing machine. Raina's new clothes were a hit with other parents, including Carl's cousin, Jim Roottrees, a notable singer who had a young daughter around the same age as Raina. Word spread. By 1982, Brenda's patterns were being copied by other brands. Seeing the demand, Carl and his second cousin Ernie Jr., who had just become president of the Roottrees at the time, spearheaded Root. Alright, so the third president is Ernie. Second cousin, so one of these guys. Pretty sure. Once removed. Oh no. Oh no, it's on here. No, where is it? Other blood relatives who have a say in the company's finances refused to fund anything other than candy, so Carl personally spent his entire inheritance to bankroll the clothing company. When the profits began to appear, however, the rest of the family changed their tune. They repaid his investment, and now Root exists under the umbrella of the candy company, and they all benefit. Per tradition, or perhaps superstition, new clothes always debuted the way the first ones did. Raina became their catalog's cover model. As she grew, the product line expanded to older kids as well. Her younger sisters were then recruited to show off the baby clothes. Carl was voted Watchman of the Year primarily for his personal gamble and the ensuing payoff. Okay. Let's do one more search for Elias. Let me get the names of his kids. Awarded Watchman of the Year in 1936 for his accomplishment of rolling out 5 pieces to a global market. Notes from the article and a scan someone made of the cover have been added to your evidence. Another picture for the board. Elias Roottrees was voted Watchman of the Year by Business Watch in 1936, and a painting of him appears on the cover. The magazine says he was voted Watchman of the Year specifically to recognize the global rollout of 5 pieces. Inside the article is a timeline of 5 pieces. 1908, Elias forms the Roottrees Candy Company after marrying his wife, who inherited a maple farm. During the period before 5 pieces, the company is barely profitable. Elias is a daughter, the first of 5 children, 4 more to follow, leading to Elias invents 5 pieces, each of which of the 5 flavors is chosen based on the initials of his 5 children, 1 flavor per child. 5 pieces are first sold in some Pittsburgh markets. 5 pieces are rolled out to all of New England. The new recipe and flavor is finalized, and the candy begins nationwide distribution in department stores and other shops everywhere. The Roottrees Candy Company purchases every available maple farm in Pennsylvania. Okay, I guess they're in Pennsylvania. In preparation for their global rollout. With the help of his son Elias Roottrees Jr.'s architectural firm, a new industrialized factory and warehouse are built in Butler County. Production is tripled and worldwide distribution begins. There's also a What's Next section that claims Elias is going to pivot to ensuring his company's legacy and that the Roottrees Candy Company remains a family business. He plans to do with the Clancy Trust. Alright. Let's pause here.